afternoon. Good to be here today. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Uh, just a couple thoughts on the game from Saturday. Really felt like the turning point, and the game was still kind of up in the air. Was I thought it was a good job at the end of the first half to get a stop, force a field goal after the turnover, and then coming right out and getting a stop, a three and out, three of them back to back, and then a stop on downs on their fourth series. But I think that, defensively they had nine or 10 plays in the third quarter for about 20 yards, and I thought that was a huge moment for us during the course of the game. Offensively, we continued to move the ball, scored 3 touchdowns in the second half, and I thought up front, for the most part, it was a solid day by our offensive line. Tight ends, they did a nice job at the point of attack. Thought our backs got downhill, ran hard. T-Mac's touchdown was good to see, breaking a tackle and finishing in the end zone. And then, the third down plays that we had a 3rd and 24 and a 3rd and 16 that we converted. We were 4 or 6 on 3rd and long and XLs. Not necessarily what you anticipate as a coach, but it was good to see. I thought Cam played really well. Again, got the ball in the right spots and put it where only his guys could catch it.
Bit on it defensively, just how impressive everybody looked out there on the defensive side of things. Now that you had a chance to look back, kind of what do you think was the biggest factor for the defensive success on Saturday?
I thought we tackled, improved tackling. I don't know if the game plan was any easier or simpler than it has been in weeks past, but I felt like our kids went into the game having great understanding of what the expectations were of each call. Sometimes they got to understand where the weaknesses are too, so we can try to eliminate people taking advantage of your call. But and I don't think we made a lot of. I bet 5-6 different calls is what we made during the course of the game. When you don't play a lot of snaps in the third quarter, you don't have to make a lot of adjustments. But I thought our defensive staff did a good job at halftime because, like I said on Saturday, they took advantage of us a little bit in some 4-by-1 empty stuff where we had no backers in the box, and I think we had made some adjustments, and they really didn't even test us late in the game with any of that again. I mean, it was all based on the look.
That being a must-win game, was there any sigh of relief kind of after the final whistle blew? Or
No, I was excited. I mean, it's no different than if it were week 1 or week 2 or week 11. College football games are hard to win, and the emphasis is going 1-0 every week and trying to block out all the noise and the last thing we want our players to do or our coaching staff to do is fuel any of the hype that's out there. We have to just make sure that we take care of what's important for us to be successful.
17 yards against a rush defense like that. Did the offensive line, did you sense they played better, or just evaluate the play of the offensive line?
I thought we played more consistently throughout the entire game, even though we've had other games where I felt like our offensive line has played well. I think we just took advantage. We had a great bead on kind of what they were going to be in. I think I think Tyler Roll did an excellent job of getting the right play call in there. But again, I mean, it's all 11 guys executing. We had guys downfield blocking. We had, at the point of attack, we had guys getting it blocked up, creating leverage. Where our backs ran really hard on Saturday.
Jalen Sundell's getting more comfortable tackle. I know it's been a full year, but now a new position. Does it seem like he's?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's bound to happen anytime you make a move. I don't think it was. He took a lot of reps during fall camp with the anticipation that might be the way we go throughout the fall. But yeah, having a year's rep under his belt definitely helps.
Guys who've played there and some that haven't. You obviously have a ton of experience. What do you tell them about what to expect at the Unidome on Saturday?
Well, I'll probably dive into a little bit environment-wise. I couldn't tell you what it'll look like, from a attendance standpoint. I do know just from my conversations with a lot of the families and things that were here for senior night, that I think there'll be a lot of Bison fans that buy tickets down in Cedar Falls to be there. I know Nick Kubitz's family bought nearly 100 tickets, so I mean he's from about 60 miles away. But there's a significant difference in a Mark Farley football team on the road and at home, and just like any home team, they play really well in the Unidome. A little different turf than what we have here, so we've got to get there plenty of time to make sure our guys. We're encouraging them what shoes to wear, but again, at the same time, they got to find what's most comfortable, what they feel good in. The sidelines are tight, just like this place. It can get loud, and so we need to be prepared for all those things. I got a ton of respect for Coach Farley and how he coaches and the product he puts on the field. And I know that he'll have his kids ready to go, especially after last week.
Saw the tape of what happened to them at Missouri State?
A little bit, but in this league, anything can happen on any given Saturday. Missouri State, I mean, again, has you talk about we didn't play a couple teams in our league, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, or I need to pick my words smartly, but they have as good a talent in the skill positions as anyone that we played throughout the year. I mean, they got some dynamic playmakers, and it looked like, of course, they had a pick six during the course of the game. I mean, it just looked like it just kind of avalanched a little bit and snowballed on them early.
Led your team in tackles. Previous week against South Dakota State, he really wasn't in a lot. So what was the difference?
Well, I think he stayed on his feet when he was tackling. He's had some issues during games that he tries to, saw people in half versus just, making solid trunk tackles. And this week, I thought during the course of the game, he was putting his chest on people. He was trying to run his feet through contact. He was cinching his upper body. And, just tackling is a fundamental. It's a technique, and it's something that you have to continually work at. And there's certain times to use certain tackles. And you can tell he's a coachable kid. He did a great job and played much better this week, as you mentioned.
Looking at him out of high school, was it different positions, and were you locked in at receiver? Was it an issue to figure out where to put him?
No, I think we felt like inside receiver was going to be where his best days at college are, and they still are to this day. But because of the flexibility and his football IQ too. I mean, you can't ask a young man to do all these things if he can't handle it all from a mental standpoint. But it's fun to watch him. He's excited, and I tell you what, he's excited about what he's doing offensively. But there wasn't anyone more excited than him on the sideline Saturday when he saw his brother having success, and so I thought that was really cool.
When you look, is it hard not to give him more carries, I guess?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's hard, but again, we got to make sure that we're doing whatever's necessary to win. But I think, we can continue to give him carries out of the backfield. He does a great job making people miss. He's a different style of back there, maybe different athlete is what I should say. Because I think in his mind, he still recognizes himself as a receiver.
Gives you a different, like you said, element on the edge. I think he had an off tackle thing where he kind of jump cut through a small seam. He just not that it seems like he maybe does that better than some of the other backs, or
just a little different skill set, and so I think that's good. We have change-ups. Who's carrying the ball? And I think when you start looking at TK and T-Mac and Barika and now Raja, and then you add our quarterbacks in it, you see a number of different running styles.
Kind of the guy now with Marcus, and I know you mentioned they have.
I don't know if I'd say he's the guy. He was healthy, and Marcus was coming off an injury still. Helped us, on Saturday quite a bit, but Jaquise has continued to get better.
bring up Jaquise. I think there's a 3rd and 6 where they followed a guy underneath and made a tackle.
Yeah, they ran like a little mesh replace type of concept.
How big of a play is that for a young guy to make a tackle like that on a 3rd and 6, or just is that something you've seen that's just?
No, we've seen it in practice, but now to be able to make it and to take that into a game and make that in a critical spot, I would anticipate, just like you guys can, that's gonna elevate his confidence level. But it was fun to see, and you could see the excitement that, he knew it was a big play right there, and that was, I think, a 3rd and 6 play, and it was 4th and 2, and they ended up punting, and a big opportunity and a big play for him.
It only started maybe 2 or 3 games 2 years ago. We haven't seen him since. What is his elevation? He's another experienced quarterback you're going to see.
He is, and you can tell he has, complete control of what they're doing offensively and feels comfortable. I think people have tried to pressure him, tried to disguise. Savvy football player. He's seen a lot of football, and probably playing against their defense. Sees a lot of defense throughout the year, fall camp, spring ball. still does a great job decision making with RPO stuff, and can hurt you with some glances. Can hurt you. You know, their passing game is a vertical passing game. They're going to push the ball down the field. He's got a big arm. You know, they don't have necessarily quarterback run game, but he can extend plays with his feet. He's athletic. You know, he's a winner, and the ball comes out. He's got some talented kids on the perimeter. They got big, huge backs in my mind. So we got our work cut out for us defensively to be able to slow them down.
We talk about getting ready to play against an experienced, dangerous quarterback, and then you know how good Cam's been this year. How impressive has the quarterback play been in the Valley this year?
I think it's probably been this year as good as it has, you know, in a while. And I know a lot of the names are repeat names, guys that you've seen kind of grow and develop through the years. But there's a lot of and we didn't face everyone in the league, of course, either. But a lot of really good, experienced quarterbacks right now, and some of that's due to the extra year. Some of it's due to just how much they played as young players. A guy like Nick Baker would be a great example. Mark Gronowski at South Dakota State played early in his career, and that early experience always pays off, you know, down the road.
Run defense, I think 6th in the FCS, kind of like SIU was pretty highly rated. What's it going to take to?
Well, we got to be great at the point of attack. We got to play with great fundamentals, and you know, again, they're going to jump in and out of some 4 down, some 3 down, which is, you know, forces you to have to be a great communicator up front. You know, how are you going to ID things? Where are your combos going? You know, what do you like from a scheme standpoint? Is it more pin and pull? Is it zone? Is it gap scheme? And so we'll probably have to have some communication that goes in, because they will jump in and out. Unlike Southern Illinois, that you saw the personnel, you and I will stand some DNs up, drop those guys into the boundary. They do a nice job of disguising what they're in.
Was anything different coming out of Saturday, or?
No, not that I know of. You know, up until 2:00, everything was status quo. Yeah, I think we're going to have to another at least 10 days or so before we know anything, and that's doctor's decision.
It's just the next game, but do you get a sense of hey, we can help our playoff status with a win, that this could go a long ways toward the bracket?
Yes, I agree. We can help our playoff status with a win.
But this could go a long ways toward that?
I'm not going to dive into it with our team. I'm not. One, I think they're smart enough to know that, you know, wins are positive. Wins are good. I'm not. I don't think we need to add any extra stress on us during the course of the week. There'll be enough going to you and I, traveling, playing a really good football team. We played maybe the closest thing to a complete game this week. I want us to focus on how did that feel and how can we emulate that again.
Guys, yourself included, how big a deal is it for the high schoolers then to go back and play at the Unidome? Some that have played there. Cam's last game was for a state championship there.
A lot of them have played there, and I know we're going to have a lot of our guys who may not travel with the team. Nate Schneckelhoff, who's from North Scott area. His sister goes there, so he's going down. Family's meeting him there halfway. There'll be a lot of our. I think we'll have a good crowd, a good contingent. I know we're going to have a ton of parents and families and relatives. I already told you about Nick Kubitz, but I got to believe Cam will have a huge crew there as well. And I think, and even any of our kids from southern Minnesota will see that as it's just a little bit closer, or even Illinois.
It was the closest thing to a complete game you've had this year. So what was the magic? What button did you push?
I wish it was that easy, Mike. I do. Just keep coaching them every day. And I'm not taking away. I think there's been other really good moments during the season, but I think just 4 full quarters of football is what I was getting at. I thought, you know, you go back to Central Arkansas, I thought the first 3 quarters, until we kind of make wholesale substitutions, was a really good game. I thought there was other moments in other games that we played really well. But, you know, this was from start to finish. You know, there was a little adversity right there before halftime that we had to overcome, and we found a way to get through that. And like I said, we need to find a way. I thought we had a great week of practice last week, but practice hasn't been our problem. It's been Saturday and just executing at the standard.